It runs.
Welcome back everyone. As you probably guessed from the title of the video, we're going over a couple new optics from the folks over at Olight. If you guys are watching this video and the video has been up for like 72 hours or less, the sale is live. There will be a link down below in the video description if you guys want to pick one up. So we have two new optics here from Olight. Of course, you guys know about their Osight, which has the RMR footprint. It's been out for a long time now. It uses this little thing right here to charge, basically via a USB-C. It gives you the charging indicator on top. Put it on top of your optic and it does give you the indicator in terms of the battery status. It has insane battery life. However, the beauty of it is, of course, even if you're using it for like a year and you're worried about the battery life, all you need to do is put that hood on and it will start charging it, because it does have a mini power bank in there. And then of course you can plug it in via the USB-C as well. If you guys watched my first video on this optic, one thing I complained about is that some of the optics, or excuse me, some of the slides, it actually wouldn't fit on. And that was because of the way the rear sight was on some of the actual pistols out there. They have gone ahead and recessed the rear of the charger now to eliminate that problem. Of course, you can see that magnetic charging port there on top. That is how it charges. Over here on the left side, as the shooter shoots it anyway, you have your buttons that work the program as well as the brightness, plus and minus, of course. And then you also have the ability to switch out between manual, meaning that you can set the actual brightness to what you want it at. Auto as well, so it does have a little sensor that will sense the amount of light in the environment and change it accordingly. I personally don't like that for self-defense use. If you guys are using it for competition or recreational use, though, it does work just fine. And then we have the ability to switch between the, in this case, 3 MOA dot, 32 MOA circle. You can have both, or just one or the other, and you can switch between that. And like I mentioned earlier, it does have the RMR base, so that way if you guys are interested in using it with any of the RMR mounts that are out on the market, you can do so. Bolts right on. It does come with all of the screws that you would need for a variety of different slides and optics mounts. That's one thing I think Olight and Vortex have nailed it. They have gotten that right. Many other optics companies ship with just like 2 screws that are generic for like a Glock MLS plate or something like that. Olight gives you a bunch of them in a bunch of different lengths as well, which is something I do like. Of course, here in just a second, we're going to step out on the range and see how this does on a drop test, so stay tuned for that. Before we do that though, we do need to check out the other new sight that they do have. The other sight that I just referred to is the Osight S. This one actually might be the more popular one of this sale because, of course, with the Osight that has been out for a while, it's been out with that 3 MOA dot. The new thing here on the X version is going to be that outer ring. This one has the outer ring as well, but it also has a 2 MOA inner dot. This one, of course, is fully enclosed, which is something that I know a lot of folks like these days. So we have a window here on the back and then a window here on the front. We also have that charging portion there on the top to work with the charger that fits on top, very similar to the full-size model. However, we do have the integral rear sight on there as well. Some guns, like the early SIG 365s, for example, they require you to take the rear sight off if you're going to mount an optic on there. So this does act as your rear sight if you have one of those guns. If you have a gun with the rear sight that's already on there, then you just don't have to worry about it, and you can just ignore the little raised portions there on the rear. It does fit with the RMSC pattern guns, which is a ton of different compact guns there on the market. Of course, insane battery life as well. Has the same thing where you can set it to manual. You can work with just the 2 MOA dot. You can work with the dot and the circle. You can work with just the circle. And again, all of that is done by programming here on the left side. It, of course, has your windage and elevation adjustments, just like the full-size version. Windage over there on the right side, and then, of course, elevation on the top. So with that out of the way, again, sale is live. Let's head out to the range and see what happens when we drop this thing.
Now's the part of the video I know many of you guys tuned in to see. We're going to do a little drop test here. We have it mounted up here on our Apollo Glock clone. I'm going to send one downrange just to verify we're on at 45 yards, and then we're going to drop it. Ooh, it's too bright. All right, we are on as I expected, since it's zeroed by me, and we're going to drop it and see how it does. Should show you, I guess. Everything there perfectly clear right now. No issues at all in terms of the optic. And for those of you guys who are new, I'm 5'11"3/4. I just shrunk a 1/4 of an inch last time I went to the doctor. And we're just going to drop it on shoulder height on some shootsteel.com steel. The mag right now has 7 rounds in it. Did just fine. Slow-mo probably showed you guys better than this will, but we had a strike right there on the corner, and the glass looks perfectly fine. Let's see if we're still zeroed. Ooh, had a malfunction. I don't think that has anything to do with the drop. There we go. Still zeroed. Drop it again. Ooh, we cracked it that time. However, it looks like it's still perfectly functional. So I think, you guys know better than me from the slow-mo, I think we hit it right there on the opposite side. And as you guys can see, hopefully, the glass there is cracked, but it appears to be good to go in terms of actual function. We'll find out. Another malfunction. Wonder if I broke something with that. This gun hasn't had a single malfunction until this drop test. That's weird. You know what I think it might be? I wonder if it drove the screw into the actual area where the plunger is in the slide. I mean, it wouldn't be the craziest thing I've ever seen. That happened, of course, with our RXM, but this was intentionally, I used the short screw on it for that not to happen. No. All right, so what happened there is, again, we're shooting at 45 yards. That point of impact shifted about 6 inches high. So it's not like inoperable, but the point of impact definitely shifted. That doesn't always happen when you drop optics, but on this case, it absolutely did.
Well, as you saw, we sacrificed the Osight X for the gods of the internet. We haven't had a chance to drop the Osight S yet because I actually went to mount it up on a pistol that was RMS pattern and it didn't fit. It actually needs to be specifically RMS-C, which is a little bit weird. Now that is a Gerson issue. It's not an Olight issue. I'm sure Gerson will fix that in the future, but it's an older design and they require an RMS period, no RMS-C. So I messed that up and we missed out on a range opportunity. So I haven't dropped that one yet. That said, it is fully enclosed. It will probably do a little bit better. Should note as well that Olight does advertise these as having a different material than 7075. I should be rolling in the specs here on your screen that you guys can't see it. But maybe that is why it lived up to, or rather withstood, one drop, even on the full-size one. Again, though, many large window optics like that, you just can't expect them to take a beating. Most of them are going to fail. Certainly the SRO, for example, as you guys have seen on my channel, will fail if you do even one drop test with that. So there is that. That is the durability. Of course, price point we should have already rolled in here on your screen. And honestly, guys, with that, I think that's pretty much all I have for you. If you guys have any questions about the optics, anything like that, you can post them down below in the comments section. But that's pretty much it. You guys saw it here. I've been shooting the Osight S, I should point out, not the X model, but the one with just the 3 MOA dot on my PSA dagger, as well as my Beretta A300 Ultima Patrol. And we've had zero issues with any of those through thousands of rounds so far. So I do know that some of the early Osight S's that went out, not the X, but the Osight S's had some issues with zero. We haven't seen that. One issue that we have seen though, on all of the full-size ones before we close it out, is going to be, yes, it has a very large window, but as you can see there, if you guys are looking at it, the actual window itself tilts back at a pretty aggressive angle. So if you have the sun to the rear of your shooting position, basically the top quarter, if you will, of the glass kind of gets like a reflection in it. So you can't really use that portion of the big window in that one type of lighting condition. So just know that going forward, that is one of the cons I have picked up with it. So personally, I've been running all of mine in manual mode. I do not like the auto sensing mode, but again, that sort of is a user preference and a situational dependent kind of thing, not a good or bad thing in my opinion. So I think with that, for real this time, we're going to close it out there. Questions down below, and thank you all for watching. Additionally, before we finally close it out, if you guys clicked on the Olight video and you got really upset for whatever reason, despite seeing the actual thumbnail and the title of the video, there will be mental health resources for you guys down below in the comments. So with that, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.